So let's see a second example of what could be the answers to the 8 key questions to prepare the recipe. In this second example, we will consider an activity, a project-based learning activity for a subject on museology. This is a subject very far away from engineering education, and in particular from computer programming. That was the first example. Many believe that in subjects like this, it's much more difficult to apply project-based learning than in engineering education. So let's see. In this case, the potentially saleable product is the organization of an exhibition of work of art from a certain period in a given museum space. Maybe each team can even be assigned a different period, so each team has a different project if this is what we want. The product is actually a report that contains the basic decisions for the organization of the exhibition. The report must respect the established format, contain an adequate bibliography review, clearly justify the decisions regarding the works of art that the team has chosen for the exhibition, and the basic aspects related to their exhibition and maintenance. It must also contain the necessary graphic material to clarify all aspects of the problem. What do students know before starting the project? Well, they already know something about handling bibliography. They already dominate the museum language a little bit. They know the basic about iconography, and then they know the basics of historiography, trends, and methodologies. What do the students have to learn? What are these 3 independent blocks of knowledge that they will have to learn? So the first block is some knowledge about preventive conservation of work of art. The second block is to learn the essentials about the sociological and artistic context of the chosen period. And finally, the third block is to learn a little bit more on museography, lighting and presentation of work of art, the preparation of poster, and something like that. What is version 0? So a first version of the report that contains everything related to a single work of art. The group has to choose only one from the chosen period and make decisions together regarding that work of art. Specifically, what is the curatorial speech, that is the presentation speech of the exhibition that the exhibitor curator would make, although in this case it's a very limited because there is only one work of art. The report must also specify how the issue of lighting and conservation of that work of art would be resolved and what would be the poster for that work of art. Therefore, version 0 is a report for an exhibition of a single work of art. What does each of the 3 individual extensions consist of? In this case, students must include 3 more works of art in the report. The group will have to choose 3 more works of art so that each student will be in charge of the basic decisions corresponding to one of these works of art. That is, again, aspects related to lighting, conservation, poster, etc. That is the same decisions that they made together in version 0, but now each student will have to make those decisions alone for the work of art assigned to him. To prepare version 1 of the report, they must have to integrate the work done by each student individually and review the curatorial discourse of the exhibition, which now already has 4 works of art, so the product becomes potentially saleable. What must be added to version 1 to produce version 2? So again, the improvements that come from the evaluation of version 1. We assume that the teacher will look at version 1 and will tell each team why they need to improve. But also we can incorporate to version 2 a plan of the space and distribution of the works of art. And finally, to create a poster to advertise the exhibition. So now give an example of a final individual exercise. Each student has to explain why they have chosen each of the works of art they have chosen and summarize the key aspects related to the conservation of each of them. This is something they must have documented in the report, so any student who has been actively involved in the project should be able to answer the question. Finally, key question number 8, what would be the basic knowledge that the students are going to learn through the project, even though they could have learned in a book? So these are, for instance, be able to describe the objectives of museology, to explain the relationship between the curatorial discourse and museology. Given a work of art, describe the basic aspects to take into account for the conservation of that piece. And given a work of art and an space for its exhibition, describe the basic aspect to take into account for the adequate lighting of that piece. So this would be therefore an example in a field quite far away from engineering, which shows that one can consider the use of project-based learning in any teaching setting. Well, we are done. We are all the details of our proposal. In the next class session, you will have the opportunity to clarify your doubts about the proposal, and then you will have to face an exercise consisting in designing a project-based learning activity for your students using the proposal we have seen. So see you then.